train Americans, stop bringing in people to take our jobs. That's the policy here, $100,000 a year.
Elon Musk, Sundar Pichai, Satya Nadella and Indra Nooyi, all of them lived the American dream by coming to the US on an H-1B visa. But today, if they had to come to America for the first time for a job, they would have to cough up $100,000. That is the debilitating impact of the US President Donald Trump's latest shocking move. And India will be the most impacted.
Everyone's going to be happy. And we're going to be able to keep people in our country that are going to be very productive people. And in many cases, these companies are going to pay a lot of money for that.
Did Trump just kill the H-1B visa? Is the American dream over for Indian techies? Also, is this a tactic by Trump to get an upper hand ahead of the negotiations for the India-US bilateral trade deal, which is happening as we speak? Let's peel off the layers of all this in today's episode of Homework. I am your host, Aman Sharma. Let's start with some clarity. Number one, the White House has made it clear that the $100,000 is not an annual fee. It's a one-time fee that applies only to the petition for an H-1B visa. So this applies only to new visas, not renewals and not current visa holders. Number two, those who already hold H-1B visas and are currently outside of the US right now for any reason will not be charged $100,000 to re-enter. H-1B visa holders can leave and re-enter the country to the same extent as they normally would. Number three, the $100,000 stipulation will first apply in the next upcoming lottery cycle. The proclamation is limited to new H-1B lottery applicants currently outside the United States. This would have settled a lot of anxiety for Indian techies and their employers in the US. On Saturday, one saw complete panic as Indian techies on H-1B visas who were back home or in any other country outside the US were scrambling to get on flights to get back into the US by the Sunday deadline. Those leaving the US on Saturday for a trip were also seen disembarking from their flights. The rush and the anxiety of such H-1B visa holders is now settled. But make no mistake, Trump's move is targeted at India and Indians. Trump does not want any more Indians entering the US on H-1B visas and is fixing a high price on any such entry. Nearly 72% of H-1B visas every year go to Indians. This has been a constant since the year 2015. In 2024, for example, 2.83 lakh Indians got the H-1B visa. In 2023, nearly 2 lakh Indians got it. This was out of a total 3.9 lakh such visas granted in that year. The dominance of India's in fresh applications are not going to be any different. But now, any company wishing to hire them needs to pay a one-time fee of $100,000. The company will have to decide if a person is that valuable. What makes this even more complex is that the average annual salary of an Indian H-1B visa holder in the US is around $65,000. So will companies want to pay up an upfront fee, which is a big one, to get an H-1B visa holder on board? It is a big, big if. Now let's understand why the US has done it. Well, Trump says the decision will serve the national interest by addressing threats to the welfare of American workers. He's asserting that the misuse of the H-1B program could pose a threat to US economic security and the welfare of the domestic labor markets. He says that the H-1B non-immigrant visa program was created to bring temporary workers into the US to perform high-skilled functions, but it has been exploited to replace American workers. Trump says the share of IT workers in the H-1B program grew from 32% in 2003 to over 65% in the last 5 years. He says the abuse of the H-1B visa program has made it even more challenging for US college graduates trying to find IT jobs. This is allowing employers to hire foreign workers at a significant discount to American workers. This needs to change, Trump says. The dominance of India's in the H-1B visa program is what has caught the eye of Trump and his supporters. They say this is stealing of American jobs by Indians and this has to stop immediately. Trump's formula is simple. American businesses should now on focus on hiring American workers rather than Indians. It also gels with Trump's political agenda and pleases his MAGA supporters. Immigration is a polarizing political issue in the US. But is the US also shooting itself in the foot with this decision? Indians have been a big part of the American success story, contributing to the US economy and being capital builders by serving in the US on H-1B visas. America has in fact been a magnet for India's best brains to come live their American dream and also add to America's bank of talent. Be it Microsoft, Meta, Apple, Amazon, JP Morgan, TCS, Google or Walmart, all of them have Indians to thank in a big measure for what they are today. Denying Indians entry into the future would hurt the cause of these American companies as they will struggle to find equally skilled American talent. In future, this could prove to be a disastrous move. Now a big question. Is this move designed to pressurize India? Well, the Trump administration has taken many steps against India. 50% tariff, the Chabahar port decision to withdraw sanctions waiver. An Indian delegation led by Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal is now in the US to take forward the negotiations for the India-US bilateral trade deal. During talks last week in India between the negotiators on both sides, it was decided to intensify efforts in this regard. Now, this delegation plans to take forward the discussions with a view to achieve early conclusion of a mutually beneficial trade agreement. The timing of the US announcement of the H-1B visa crackdown is hence critical here. While remaining steadfast on national interest while negotiating the trade deal, India should also see a silver lining in Trump's H-1B decision. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been speaking about Atmanirbharta and self-sufficiency.
विकसित होना है तो भारत को आत्मनिर्भर होना ही होगा.
Bharat must stand strong before the world as a self-reliant nation, the PM has said. To quote the PM more, if Bharat is to become a developed nation by 2047, when we celebrate 100 years of independence, then self-reliance is the only way. There is no alternative. The resolve of 140 crore Indians must be one. Whether it is a chip or a ship, we must make it in Bharat. But how will this big change happen? Top-notch Indian brains staying in India and doing this for the country rather than leaving for American shores will be the pump that India needs. This may be an opportunity for India. That is all for this week's viewers. Join me next week on Homework Again.